Did you know that Antelope Island in Utah is home to one of the largest free-ranging buffalo herds in the U.S.? Join Dogmatix and I as we explore old homesteads and take on the challenge of e-biking while dodging wild buffaloes and soaking in all the adventure. While the scenery is stunning, navigating the terrain and encountering wildlife can pose unique challenges for adventurers. Come along as we explore these breathtaking landscapes, experience an exhilarating encounter with some buffalo, and tackle the sport of e-biking.
My name is Sterling, and I am on location.
But before we dive into buffaloes and e-bikes, take a step back in time with me to Fielding Garr Ranch, a historic site located on the east end of Antelope Island. It was there that Dogmatix and I met up with a representative from the Utah Department of Natural Resources for a chat.
Hi, I'm Sterling. This is Dogmatix. Thanks for letting us come visit your park today. Are pets allowed?
They are. They need to be on a 6-foot leash, but we do love dogs.
What if you have a 5-foot leash because he's short?
That's acceptable.
Okay.
I'm Carl Aldrich. I'm the manager of the historic Fielding Garr Ranch.
Do we have livestock here?
Not here at the ranch. This is a historic site.
How long has this place been here and what's it all about?
This ranch was started in 1848 by Fielding Garr. He just wanted to be a rancher and came out here. This was a great spot. It was surrounded by water, so he didn't have to build a bunch of fences. There's freshwater springs all over the island, so plenty of water that way.
Yeah.
He actually came in 1847 and left his son here over the winter.
Didn't like him much?
I guess not, no. Left him here with the cows and came back in 48 and built the house.
Was the sheep shearing one of the first established places like that here in Utah?
Yeah, this was the first one in the West, actually.
So at the Garr Ranch, what are all these buildings?
These are all the buildings that were built here at the ranch. It was used for 133 years, so many of these buildings are historic. It was used until 1981. So we have a blacksmith shop. We have a little museum where you can see some of the historic things and get the general overview. We have the ranch house itself. We have a bunkhouse and a huge barn with the first mechanized sheep shearing operation in the West.
Well, we should definitely look at that.
Yes.
But let's look at this house first.
Okay.
All right.
Famous last words, because on the way to the house, we got distracted by the other buildings.
So right over here, we got the barn and we got the blacksmith shop. What's all this for?
These are the corrals that were used during the ranching time.
For 130 years, you said?
133 years.
Wow. This is the first sheep shearing shed of this kind in the country, or?
Western United States.
Okay. When did this get made?
1930s.
Okay. Back then, ranch hand wage scale, 150 per month. Sheep herder, 175. And a foreman, 200 a month. So the sheep would go into these corrals?
Yeah, so they'd come up a ramp here, and then they'd kind of be in this holding pen.
Okay.
And then when it was their turn to be sheared, they would come out and it would happen.
Get sheared right here.
Yep. Just like that.
And then into the chute?
Yeah, they'd go in here and the floor would actually fall out from underneath them.
Frightening.
And they would slide out to the outside.
And this is the power supply.
It is.
For the shear, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a motor on the end here downstairs that powers everything.
Because you didn't plug it in. This thing spun.
Yep.
And then there's gear mechanism that you can engage. You pull the lever, click it in, and then your shear would work. Well, so this would be spinning, this whole thing all the way down. There's a motor down there that runs it. And there's a gear here system, a couple springs, some gears. You pull a lever, you engage your gears, kind of like shifting your car. Then your shears would be powered. You could shear the sheep, put the sheep down the chute, take the wool, throw it on the conveyor belt. Good times.
Yeah.
It used to take 30 minutes for one sheep.
Yeah.
When you're doing the shears, down to 5 minutes.
Yeah, so
a sixth.
A sixth. It went from 30 minutes to 5.
Is that right math? I don't know. Jayhawk stacker. Never seen one.
I haven't figured out how it works, but somehow you hook a horse up to it and they power the fork.
We got our wagon bay.
Mm-hmm. So this is the ranch house. It's the oldest house in Utah that's still in its original foundation. And what's really interesting about it is the materials that they used were all gathered from here on the island.
So we got a laundry room?
Yep, we have some old laundry implements on display here.
The mangler.
Yes.
Ooh. And a nice big shower, nice bathroom. Now this is the 1940s they added this?
Yeah, so we have a cistern up by the parking lot, and that's where they would collect water, and then it would gravity feed.
But it took them 100 years to get water here.
Yep.
Well, indoor plumbing. It took them 100 years to get indoor plumbing.
Yes, we could say that.
Come on, Dogmatix, let's go down here. So now we're gonna go look at the spring house. So there's springs all over the island?
Yeah, we have 41 freshwater springs all over the island. One of them is right here. And cool fact, we actually have found artifacts here that are about 10,000 years old.
Well, it'd be a pretty nice place to hang out.
Yes, definitely.
When'd they make this spring house?
1840s, maybe as late as 1850. So this is actually built over part of the spring. You can see there's still some water in here. And as the water evaporates, it cools everything in this room. So year round, it's probably about 10 degrees cooler than outside.
10 degrees might make a difference if you're trying to store stuff.
Yes, for sure. So they'd put milk cans right here in these rails. They'd store meat in here, just anything that needed to be refrigerated.
All right.
We have some more stuff to see if you want to go walk around a little more.
Okay, let's go check it out.
Okay.
Making our way past the cellar, we checked out the antique horseshoeing apparatus before entering a section of the shearing barn converted into the museum. Observing these relics of a bygone era from the late 1800s through the mid-1900s makes a person really appreciate the advancements of the modern day. They didn't even have electricity until 1950. Dogmatix and I had a great time exploring, but it was time to meet up with Antelope e-bikes, where we had scheduled a Antelope Island sunset bike tour.
Are you feeling good about this? I know you didn't have much time.
I'm good on the bike.
Okay, you guys ready?
Ready, and someone was riding in style. An electric bike is a motorized bicycle utilized to assist with propulsion. With top speeds of around 20 miles per hour, they can be a great way to enjoy the sights and a lot of fun, especially when your views include a herd of bison. Antelope Island is home to one of the nation's oldest and largest public herds, with a consistent size of around 550 heads. It was a privilege to observe these creatures in their natural habitat, especially this young male who was wallowing, basically rolling around in the dirt to deter flies and possibly leave behind his scent for the ladies, which is considered a show of strength. Good luck, buddy. The weather was pretty perfect, and we were right on time to reach the trailhead and hike a bit further to enjoy the sunset. Also known as dinner time for these bison who will graze up to 11 hours a day. Now that's what I call a snack. But then, catastrophe.
Whoa. Whoa, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. There you go. Whoa, stop.
Hand it off.
Okay.
I'll shift it real quick. It just needs to, you can't be under load while.
There you go. Now you're in the easiest gear.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. I'll try your throttle.
Let's go.
Whoa. There it goes.
All right. Yeah, now it's easy.
Right?
Oh, the e-bike. Too high of a gear, too high of a approach.
All right, we made it to the Buffalo Point trailhead. We're gonna park our bikes right over here. Right here.
Despite those earlier issues, it looked like we could still make it with a little bit of hustle.
Come on. So you did pretty good on the Pacific Crest Trail.
Did you go the whole way?
No way.
It was a short hike to the top, but after everything else we had done that day, and with Dogmatix over my shoulder, I was getting a little winded.
I missed that bike already.
I know, right?
But finally, after several more gasps for air, we crested over the hill and reached our destination. And boy, were we greeted with some epic views. Antelope Island is the largest island on the Great Salt Lake at just over 15 miles long and about 5 miles wide. These boulders are called tintic quartzite, a metamorphic rock approximately 550 million years old and prominently found on Buffalo Point. Towards the southern end of the island is Frary Peak, the highest point at almost 7,000 feet. Because of Antelope Island's location within the vast Great Salt Lake and away from city lights, it qualifies as a dark skies location. This means that it provides exceptional quality of starry nights and nocturnal environments for visitors and wildlife alike. As amazing as the views were, it was time to get comfortable on the rocks and sit down with Jamie Child of Antelope e-bikes for a chat.
think that we have a pretty unique destination. You know, we're kind of set between some major state parks and like Yellowstone, and so we have bison out here. We have free roaming. They just will cross the street. They don't care about cars. They don't care about hikers. They will just go over wherever they want. There's up to 800 on the island. We have
They're still dangerous.
Still dangerous. Still stay 60 feet away. But we have mule deer. We have pronghorn antelope, jackrabbits, porcupines, coyotes. I feel like we have a really good location because we have this beautiful backdrop of all these different mountain ranges. We have the Wasatch Mountains. We have these different islands. We have the Great Salt Lake.
What got you started with e-biking?
You know, we have some family members that got into electric bikes, and we just thought we wanted to really get into it because it's such a new concept and we're starting to see it all over the world. And so really we were looking at Antelope Island because we live 10 minutes away from the gate, and it's really untapped potential out here. It's a unique experience that you don't really get to offer it in a lot of other places, because where else are you going to find free roaming, free ranging bison?
Do you feel like this is really your calling and you're just going to do this forever from now on?
Yeah, I mean, I love the way, first of all, I love the way green energy is going in the world. And so I love the idea of being able to get people on bikes that haven't been on bikes for years. I love putting a smile on somebody's face.
Fantastic. What do you think, Tice?
Well, you know, some people think that they get to the point in their life where they can't ride a bike anymore. And what we found is that there's really no limit to riding an electric bike. It can put you in a positive direction and put you back on a bike, you know?
Kind of like a rehab as a gateway back to health.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. You're releasing endorphins in a very natural way, and you're using nature to do it. And when you get somebody that is cruising up a steep hill and they're using an electric bike and they're not huffing and puffing and they're not killing themselves, you feel so good about yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And it just inspires that change, I feel like. And so, it, like you said, it's like a segue into other things.
Thanks so much for showing me all of this, bringing me out and sharing what you have. I think Dogmatix and I are ready to hike back to the bike and zip down to the marina.
All right, let's
Yeah.
do it.
All right, buddy, let's go.
Perfect timing for an easy twilight descent back to base camp. Jamie, Tice, and the rest of Antelope e-bikes are good people, and this adventure is an absolute must-do for all ages visiting the Great Salt Lake area. I know, because I've been on location.